CEO and co-founder of Aero Engine Craft Private Limited, Pakistan's first commercial engine and aircraft R&D company that is developing environmentally safe, contrail-free aircraft engines for the global aviation industry. Sarah has a PhD in aerospace engineering from Cranfield University in the UK. During her PhD research, Sarah and her father patented the contrail-free aero engine. Sarah has also recently co-invented and filed a patent for a supersonic commercial aircraft engine. She was awarded the Distinguished Aerospace Alumni Award by Cranfield University in 2020 for her leadership role and dynamic contributions in her field. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Qureshi will be joining us to talk about boosting women and girls to set startups and entrepreneurship. Thank you, Dr. Qureshi.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Shelley, for the introduction. I would just like to mention a little about my work, as we are working on contrail-free aero engines. Contrail is this white trailing line of water vapor behind an aircraft that is manifested as smoke. And though it is just frozen water vapor, but it has a global warming potential, which is 5 times more than carbon dioxide. And it is the sole contributor to global warming in the atmosphere. On the ground, we have many contributors, but aviation industry is the only contributor in the atmosphere. So we are trying to, we are developing the first generation of a contrail-free engine, which would mitigate contrails and reduce the global warming impact of the aviation industry in the atmosphere. And I believe that it is very critical because we all might be in different regions, we might have different problems, but we all share the same sky, and it is, we are under one roof. So it is one of the essential aspects that needs to be addressed. And the only industry contributing to it is the aviation industry. So now coming towards entrepreneurship, why is entrepreneurship important in the context of science and then in the context of women as well? I believe that entrepreneurship is absolutely critical for science because science can, science is amazing. It can bring about great products, great discoveries, great outcomes in labs. But then there is a very long route towards, when you're talking in the context of applied research, in order to convert a scientific invention or a discovery into a commercial viable, usable product is very important, because that's the only way that that research could be useful and could have a global impact and a societal impact. So when we talk about research, we can divide it into 2 parts. One is the very cutting edge core research, which might be useful in the next century, as we have examples from scientists who had been working in the last century on quantum, on radioactivity, on genetics, and now we are seeing the fruits of their efforts in the form of products and drugs and gadgets and equipment. So similarly, the other part of research is the one which can be currently applied. And for that, we need this route, the commercialization route after the academic route through entrepreneurship. So that is what makes entrepreneurship very important and very critical. And then also because in this current day and age where we are, the world is like looking into innovation and problem solving. There is not a very big divide on big and small. We are the world is kind of geared towards small, localized solutions and localized problem solving. And, entrepreneurship again, complements that and in a way supports that. As the jargon nowadays is that the big will not eat the small, the fast will eat the slow. So the world is moving at a very fast pace, and our problems are, with an increasing population, we are facing problems like climate change and all these issues that have to be dealt with immediately. So basically that is the concept where entrepreneurship comes in, and this is my own company is also the product that we are developing is an outcome of my PhD research, and since it held commercial promise and societal impact, so the university encouraged me to take the commercialization route through entrepreneurship and launch a company where we could make it into a product which can be used by all engines of the world. And the one point that I would highlight is that it is critical for universities and academic institutions to encourage applied research and to encourage commercialization of products. I mean, we have some amazing research in labs where people make drugs and batteries and solar cells, but then there the route towards, you have to go through trials and certifications. Even if I talk about my own subject in aerospace, we have NASA's technology readiness levels from 1 to 9. So 1 is where your research is just a concept, and at level 2 you are developing a mathematical model, a theoretical model. At 3 you are testing in the lab. At 4 you are testing outside the lab. At 5 you get airborne. Eventually, at level 9, you are able to launch it as a product which can fly missions. So this is particularly for anything that needs to get airborne. So similarly for drugs and other products that are prepared in the lab, there is a long route towards mass scale production, application, marketing, and certification. So entrepreneurship needs to be encouraged. And secondly, entrepreneurship is like a training around the business elements or the application elements to non-business specialists, because obviously business specialists are definitely trained to market or mass produce any product at a viable price. But as a scientist, as a researcher, our minds are trained differently. And then this has to be taught alongside, so that once we decide to commercialize our research, we know the right way to do it. Other than that, I would like to say that my idea for involving girls in STEM, I believe that science has generally been portrayed as something which is not very colorful, which is dull. And so there's like a general perception that it's more for the boys than for the girls. So I think the right amount of exposure and the right kind of exposure at an early age to girls would help them. And why we need it? Why do we need more girls in science? It's because we know that they have a different approach. Women have a different approach from men. We do understand that research is very painstaking. It needs a lot of peace of mind. And sometimes it is not monetarily rewarding. So for men, generally, in a lot of cultures, like a lot of Eastern cultures, including our own culture in Pakistan, cutting edge research is not very financially rewarding, though it is very professionally rewarding. So the men generally follow a very aggressive career path in terms of monetary concerns because they're considered to be the breadwinners of the family. But women tend to opt for more fulfilling and more meaningful work, and that is why it is important that for cutting edge research we need to involve more and more women. And secondly, also that sometimes some professions, or I would say some kind of knowledge, if it is not within the current trends and it is not paying well, that knowledge is lost. So women sometimes, because as I said, that they're not really looking for monetary gains out of it, they are in a way able to safeguard that knowledge and to prevent that knowledge and pass it on to the next